Because of the way this is written, and the way I typically edit, there will be a lot of clicking in this one. I'm so sorry. Unintended Summons by imvibs12, a Danny Phantom and DCU fanfic, rated for teen and up audiences, with no additional tags. Summary. Villains try to summon the powerful Ghost King, but instead pull a wounded teenage Danny Phantom from a secret lab where he was tortured under government orders, approved by Lex Luthor. Feeling guilty, Lex tips off the Justice League. Team Phantom rescue Danny, and together with the League, they expose and dismantle the corrupt Ghost Investigation Ward and repeal harmful laws. Danny slowly recovers with the support of his friends and the League members, joining Justice League Dark. Danny and his team train and work with Young Justice, gaining respect and building bonds. Though still healing from trauma, Danny begins to find hope and a new purpose alongside his allies. Chapter 1. 1. The Summoning. The circle burned green. Ancient symbols etched into obsidian stone hissed as arcane energy licked at the edges of the Legion of Doom's summoning chamber. A host of villains, Lex Luthor, Cheetah, Black Manta, Sinestro, and others, stood in a semicircle, watching as magic energy pulsed outward. "This will work?" the Riddler asked, arms crossed, brow raised. "It will," Circe assured, robes shifting as she held the staff steady. "We're summoning the Ghost King, ruler of the infinite realms. A being of untold power. If we can control him..." The center of the circle exploded in green light. And out dropped a teenager, bleeding, shaking, shackled to a scorched slab of metal. GIW insignias were seared into the restraints. His jumpsuit, what remained of it, was black and white, soaked in glowing green blood. His chest rose and fell rapidly. He was barely conscious. The room went silent. "What the hell is this?" Black Manta growled. "Is that a kid?" Cheetah asked, frowning. Circe took a step forward, frowning. This shouldn't have happened. Lex Luthor's eyes narrowed. "Where did you pull him from?" "The infinite realms," she muttered. "At least, I thought I did." The boy stirred. Glowing green eyes flicked open. He blinked up at the villains, confused, then terrified. Where? Then he passed out. 2. The boy on the slab. They moved him to a secure medbay. Secure being relative in a villain's lair. Lex ensured he was stable while Circe tried to explain the magical malfunction. "We didn't summon the realms," she said. "We summoned the being tied to the realms. That must have created a tether, one strong enough to pull him through space." "He was in a lab," Lex said quietly. "You saw it. A human lab. Looked like military." Riddler scoffed. "What's a government doing with the Ghost King?" Lex's mind turned over that thought too many times. He excused himself, looking into the boy's faint signature. Danny Phantom, and cross-referenced recent legislation. It didn't take long. The Ghost Investigation Ward. Anti-Eco Acts. Luthor sat heavy in his chair. He had seen that legislation. He'd waved it through, paid no attention. He thought it was a joke, a pseudoscience policy to shut up a handful of extremists, not even worth reading. And now, he had a bleeding teenager with a crown-shaped core, barely alive, ripped out of a black site, because of him. 3. Lex makes a choice. Lex Luthor did not do guilt. But this was a child. Experimented on, tortured, in his name, indirectly, because he hadn't cared enough to look. He stood over the boy's bed, watching as the ecoplasm drip feeds into his arm. Then he made a call. It was a burner number, an anonymous channel. "Justice League. Justice League. This is a tip. The Ghost King is in Legion territory. He's injured, not hostile. The boy needs help." He hung up before they could trace it, and left the lair that night. 4. Meanwhile, Team Phantom mobilizes. "He's not in the zone," Tucker said, adjusting his glasses as the eco-scanner beeped. "And not on Earth, either," Sam added grimly. "Which means someone summoned him," Jazz finished, pale. "If the GIW lost their eco-signature cloaking, we can track him." Valerie suited up. Wes joined, outfitted in cobbled-together tech and righteous fury. It took them an hour to lock in. It took them 12 minutes to storm the Legion of Doom. 5. The rescue. They arrived in a flurry of action. Sam busted the door open with an ectoblast from her ecto gun. Valerie took out security bots. Tucker jammed communications. Jazz led the charge. Danny was still unconscious. They took down Sinestro and Riddler before the others realized they weren't the Justice League. Cheetah fell next. Black Manta barely got a shot off. By the time the League portal arrived, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Zatanna, the fight was already over, and Team Phantom was dragging their broken king towards the exit. "Wait!" Superman called. We're not here to fight." Sam didn't slow down. "Then move." Wonder Woman held out a hand. "We want to help." Jazz paused, staring at the team. Danny groaned weakly, then nodded. "Okay." 6. The truth comes out. In the Watchtower medbay, Danny stirred. The League waited nearby, tense, confused. Zatanna scanned him. "He's bound to the realms," she whispered. "But he's human, too. He's not just a ghost." Tucker explained. So did Jazz. And when they brought out the files, photos of GIW labs, scans of Danny's injuries, a copy of Anti-Ecto Acts, silence fell. Batman's voice was cold. "This passed through government channels." Sam nodded. "Luthor signed it." "He didn't know," Danny choked, eyes fluttering open. "He thought it was fake." They all turned to him. "How do you know?" Batman asked. "I saw it, the regret, when I woke up. He didn't think it was real, but it was." Diana's eyes narrowed. "That doesn't excuse it." "No," Danny whispered, "but it means he might help fix it." 7. Retaliation. Within 24 hours, League teams mobilized. Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Hawkgirl stormed GIW bunkers. Zatanna, Constantine, and Raven dismantled magical seals. Green Lanterns created international pressure to revoke the Anti-Ecto Acts. Batman and Wonder Woman stayed behind to coordinate and work legal backdoors. Every team had at least one member of Team Phantom embedded with them. Valerie wore Red League armor. Sam coordinated with Zatanna and Raven. Jazz advised Batman on psychological protocol with rescued ghosts. And Tucker hacked GIW bases like he was born to do it. Wes was mostly comic relief, but he helped. 8. Healing. Danny recovered slowly. Canary and Jazz took point on therapy. Canary was gentle, but firm. Jazz cried with him when she had to. He still flinched when someone touched his wrists. He woke up screaming. But he smiled again. Eventually. He let Tim Drake bring him tea. He sparred with Superboy. He traded tech with Cyborg. He started calling Zatanna Z. When Lex Luthor appeared, invited by Batman to consult, Danny didn't react with hate. He looked him in the eye and asked, "Are you going to help?" Lex nodded once. Danny nodded back. 9. Legacy. It took months, but the acts were repealed. GIW was dismantled. Captured ghosts were freed. The zone began to stabilize. Danny stood in front of the Watchtower window, watching Earth below. Sam stood beside him, arms crossed. "Are you okay?" "I will be." Behind them, Diana entered with Batman. "We've come to a decision," Diana said. "The 5 of you, Team Phantom, we'd like you to join Justice League Dark." Danny blinked. "We're not exactly joiners, but you're already doing the work," Batman said. "And better than some of us." They looked at each other. Sam nodded first, Tucker smiled. Valerie rolled her eyes. Sure, why not? Jazz whispered. Yeah? Danny turned to the window and smiled. Okay. Wes looks excited to join his favorite heroes on a team and might pass out. 10. Optional teaser. Young Justice. Elsewhere, in Mount Justice. I can't believe a bunch of random ghost teenagers got Justice League invites before us. Kid Flash griped. Maybe they earned it, Nightwing said quietly. I want to spar with the Ghost King, Superboy muttered. Oh! Robin grinned. Guess it's time for a team-up episode. Nightwing sighs. Tim, stop breaking the fourth wall. Chapter 2. They meet YJ. Mount Justice. Superboy crossed his arms and stared at the Zeta Tube like it had personally offended him. They're late. Give it 5 seconds, Nightwing said without looking up. Zeta travel's still weird for ecto signatures. On cue, the tube glowed green instead of blue, emitting a hiss and a sharp pop. Out stepped Sam Manson, followed by Tucker Foley, Jazz Fenton, Valerie Gray, and Danny Phantom himself. White hair drifted faintly around his face. Glowing green eyes scanned the room warily. Behind him, Wes stumbled out and immediately tripped. Classic, Tucker muttered. Hello? Sam said coolly. We just got summoned by the League for inter-team integration. Are we supposed to be impressed by the broody hallway? Welcome to Mount Justice, Nightwing said, stepping forward with a practiced smile. I'm Nightwing. This is Superboy, Kid Flash, Robin, Miss Martian, and Artemis. Is that the real Robin? Wes whispered. I'm right here, Robin deadpanned. Kid Flash elbowed Superboy. Told you they were teenagers. Danny raised an eyebrow. You expected, what, ghost wizards with beards? I mean, you are glowing, Artemis whispered. Tension palpable. Training protocol initiated. Batman's orders were clear. 2 days of joint training to evaluate both tactical compatibility and interpersonal dynamics, which was Bat-speak for make sure they don't accidentally destroy each other. First hour, rough. Superboy tried to arm wrestle Danny. Danny won, without trying. Kid Flash mocked Tucker's tech until Tucker hacked his comms mid-sentence. Robin challenged Sam to a stealth exercise. She wiped the floor with him using a combo of invisibility and actual goth rage. Okay, Nightwing said eventually, watching the latest spar. They're good. They're weird, Superboy muttered, watching Valerie hover via modified anti-grav boots and shoot ecto-energy at targets with pinpoint accuracy. And better trained than we were at their age, Miss Martian said softly. Nightwing nodded. And Danny? Danny was floating in the air, juggling containment orbs with spectral duplicates, while carrying a snoring Wes under one arm. Terrifying, Nightwing admitted. Inter-team bonding, eventually. Mission Simulation 2 forced both teams to work together, recover a rogue artifact from a corrupted GIW facility in Nevada. Inside the simulation, ghosts ran wild, phantoms corrupted with GIW tech, mindless and enraged. Young Justice faltered. Team Phantom stepped up. Jazz guided Robin and Miss Martian through ghost-resistant tactics. Tucker used his tech to disable Ghost's repellent field. Sam and Artemis tag-teamed infiltration. Valerie shielded Kid Flash during a surprise attack. And Danny? He saved Superboy from being possessed. You good? Danny asked afterwards, panting, offering a hand. Superboy hesitated, then took it. You should have left me. Danny shrugged. I've been left before. Didn't like it. For the first time, Superboy smiled. Thanks, Ghost Guy. Danny. Late night talk. Nightwing and Phantom. That night, Nightwing found Danny alone in the training room, hovering over a punching bag. Ghost rings flickering. You're pushing it, Nightwing said. You're not fully healed. I can't afford to break again. You're not broken. Danny floated down. You don't know what they did to me. What I let them do. I should have left the lab. I could've, but I didn't want the zone to burn, so I stayed. I let them. He choked. Nightwing stepped forward. You made a choice to protect others. That's not weak. That's not failure. Danny's hands curled into fists. Then why do I still feel like I'm stuck on that table? Because trauma doesn't leave just because the pain stops. Danny didn't respond. Nightwing continued. You've got people now. Don't fight alone. Battle, GIW, strikes back. Just before the teams could part ways, a real mission dropped. A GIW splinter cell, furious about the repeal of the Anti-Ecto Acts, attacked a League safe house with dimensional rift tech. They planned to forcefully merge Earth and the Ghost Zone. Young Justice and Team Phantom were deployed together. Ghosts incoming, Artemis shouted. Danny flew overhead, flanked by Valerie and Sam. Contain them. Tucker scrambled the field. Already on it. Miss Martian and Jazz stabilized the anchor. Superboy punched a rift core loose, then caught it as it exploded. Danny absorbed the last wave of corrupted ghosts into a containment field he created on the fly. Where did you learn that? Zatanna asked later. I didn't, Danny wheezed. I guessed. Aftermath. Respect earned. Later, back on Mount Justice, both teams sat in the kitchen, bruised and exhausted. Kid Flash handed Danny a soda. So, still glowy, still scary, but you're alright. You're not bad yourself. Danny grinned. Wes was asleep, face first on the table. Robin had swapped numbers with Tucker. Artemis was sharing snack tips with Sam. Even Superboy sat beside Danny. No tension. Nightwing entered with a file. Debrief's done. The League is proud. Danny stood. So, what now? We were thinking of a training exchange. You mentor us in ghost stuff. We teach you how to not get kidnapped every week. Danny smirked. Rude. Jazz sipped her tea. Accurate, though. Laughter broke out. And maybe, just maybe, this felt like a beginning. Chapter 3. Wes writes fanfiction. Even with the Anti-Ecto Acts dismantled and Team Phantom welcomed by the Justice League, Danny's healing journey was far from over. Trapped between worlds, in more ways than one, he struggled to come to terms with what the GIW did to him, and the role he played in protecting others at the cost of himself. With Black Canary, Jazz, Zatanna, and Constantine helping him through the pain, and the League growing closer than he expected, Danny finally begins to believe that, maybe, he deserves to heal. 1. Canary's office. Danny stared at the ceiling. Don't like this room, he muttered. Black Canary didn't glance up from her notes. Because it reminds you of being observed? No, because I know you're about to make me talk about my feelings. That got her to smile. Danny lay stretched out on the couch, body solid but faintly glowing, wrist scars visible under his rolled sleeves. I'm not gonna make you, Dinah said gently, but I'm here when you're ready. Danny swallowed. Then, I screamed so much. I didn't know I could still scream like that. She looked up. I didn't break when they cut me open. Not when they zapped me or shoved my core in a containment cell. I didn't even cry when they branded me. He finally looked up at her. But when they came, my friends, I broke. Because I didn't have to be strong anymore. Dinah closed her notebook and just sat with him. 2. Bonds in the Dark. Zatanna found him in the Hall of Magic, tinkering with a prototype containment charm. Don't touch the rune, Danny said without looking up. She smirked. You'd be fun at parties. I get invited, he says. I just don't go. She sat beside him. You're a king, you know? A real one. He shrugged. Not by choice. Most kings aren't. Danny didn't reply. Zatanna continued softly. You could have let the zone burn. You didn't. You stayed. And look where it got me. Here, she said. Alive, still fighting, still healing. Danny glanced at her. You want help learning spellcasting the right way? She offered. He blinked. then smiled. Jazz and Canary team up. Jazz joined his sessions once a week. Together, they helped him untangle the guilt and constant vigilance and echo of burning pain. Some nights, Jazz held his hand through flashbacks. Some days, she and Dinah sat in silence while Danny hovered inches over the floor, phasing in and out. One day, he whispers, "If I had stayed dead, this wouldn't have happened." Jazz squeezed his shoulder, but then the world would have lost its only ghost who breaks physics and makes puns at 3 a.m. Danny snorted. Still a nerd. Proud of it. 4. Constantine in the core. Constantine cornered Danny in the Watchtower greenhouse. "Oi, Phantom." Danny paused mid-hover. "What?" The warlock flickered a lighter. "Been watching your core flare. You're building too much pressure." Danny frowned. "I've had worse." "No, you've survived worse. You want to start rupturing realms again?" "Not really." John took a drag. "Then come with me. I'll teach you how to regulate your energy so you don't explode and take the moon out with you." "Is this your way of saying you care?" "Shut up and float." 5. The Batman conversation. He didn't expect Batman to show up on the edge of the Watchtower gym. "You're healing," Bruce said, almost a question. Danny shrugged. "I'm surviving. Not the same thing." They stood in silence. Batman added, "I've read the records. What they did. How you endured it. You shouldn't have." Danny blinked. "That sounds like sympathy." "It's respect." That hit harder. Batman turned. "You've earned your place. Let us help keep it safe." Danny watched him go, heart aching. 6. Team Phantom's support. Tucker upgraded Danny's suit with passive healing modules. Valerie scheduled sparring sessions every other day to help Danny regain confidence in combat. Sam created meditation spaces across the Watchtower, with incense and plants and protective sigils, and dragged Danny into every single one. Wes started writing fanfiction where Phantom destroyed government agencies, which Danny accidentally read, and then could not stop laughing at. And Jazz? She was always there. Always. 7. Lex returns. One day, Lex Luthor requests a private meeting. Danny enters cautiously. "You look less dead," Lex observed. "You look less like a Bond villain." Lex's lips twitch. "I wanted to say thank you." Danny blinked. "For what?" "For not hating me. I deserve it." Danny tilted his head. "You didn't mean to harm. You just didn't care." Lex winced. "But you do now," Danny added. "So, prove it. Help keep the axe dead. Help fix what broke." Lex nodded slowly. "I already am." They shook hands. 8. Peace at last. Time passed. Danny stopped waking up screaming. He started sleeping in his human form again. He stopped avoiding mirrors. Let Sam braid his hair. Let Valerie talk him into replacing the tattered suit. He started mentoring younger metas with trauma. He stopped saying, "I'm fine," when he wasn't. He started living. 9. Final session. "Do you think I'm healed?" Danny asked Canary one day. She smiled. "Healing's not a destination. It's a direction, and you're facing the right way." He nodded. "Thanks for not giving up on me. You never gave us a reason to." Danny stood up, core steady and pulsing with calm light. He wasn't fine, but he was getting better, and that was enough. Chapter 4. The League Gets Protective. 1. The Request. It started with a file. Batman dropped it on the meeting table in the Watchtower conference room. The holographic screen flickered to life above it. "The United Nations has requested an audience with Danny Phantom," Batman said. His tone was flat. Too flat. "They claim it's for transparency, a gesture of accountability." Sam made a noise between a laugh and a snarl. "Transparency? They funded GIW." Zatanna crossed her arms. "And now they want to smooth it over by grilling a trauma survivor like it's a press conference?" Wonder Woman looked at Danny. "It's your decision. We won't force you." Danny was still. He looked between the faces in the room. Heroes, mentors, people he was still learning to trust. And then, down by his hands, scarred wrists, stable core, solid form. "I'll do it," he said quietly. "I want them to see what they did." 2. Prep time. Tucker was not calm, to say the least. "This is a trap," he muttered, pacing the watchtower comms room. Sam gives him a glare. Or, okay, not a trap, but like a political manipulation tactics. "I'll be around the room with ectoblasters, just in case," Sam added. Valerie cocked her head. "You think they'll notice?" Danny just adjusted his new formal suit, black and white trim, a barely there spectral shimmer in the light. Wes mutters something along the lines of, "Danny in a suit is actually hot," before Sam gives him her signature glare, and he backs off. "If this goes bad," he said, "pull me out." They all nodded, except Wes, who was drooling a bit. 3. The interview. The meeting was held in Geneva. The room was full of suits and silence. A few League members flaked the walls. Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and Batman. Sam and Jazz sat behind Danny. Danny floated just an inch off the ground, his eyes a tint of green, with a bit of his fangs showing, when he entered. Enough to remind them that he was not just a boy, not just a victim, but a powerful force to be reckoned with. "Mr. Phantom," a delegate began, voice smooth, rehearsed. "We appreciate your willingness to appear today. We'd like to begin by discussing your origins." Danny tilted his head. "You mean the lab accident that killed me? Or the part where I was revived in pain, alone, then tortured by a branch of your own government?" A pause. The interviewer cleared their throat. "Let's focus on your experience in GIW custody." Danny stared at them, expression unreadable. Then he spoke. "I spent 112 days strapped to a table," he said. "They called me an anomaly, a hostile biological entity. I begged. They didn't stop. A hush settled over the room. They cut me open," he continued. "They branded my core, injected human drugs and ghost destabilizers just to see what would happen. I screamed, shattered, rebuilt myself." All of them are staring at him. He didn't even share that information with Sam or Tucker, his closest friends. He raised his hand, letting his form flicker, let his eyes glow more intently. "I'm not a monster, but I was made into one." 4. Fallout. The recording was leaked. Not by the League, not by Team Phantom, but by someone else. It went viral in hours. Clips hit every news network. Danny's voice, shaking but sure. The flicker of his ghost form. The raw grief in his tone. The fury. Protests flared outside former GIW buildings. Memes exploded online. Ghost King says ACAB. Anti-containment and bureaucrats. One photo in particular spread like wildfire. Danny flanked by Wes and Jazz, exiting the UN chamber, eyes forward, glowing just enough to be defiant. 5. The League reacts. Batman slammed the report onto the console. The League made him a target. He was already a target. Diana snapped. Now the world knows the truth. Superman added, "Half the planet's population sees him as a hero. The other half sees him as a threat. We need to increase his protection." "I can handle myself," Danny said from the doorway. They all turned. Danny stepped inside, face calm. "I knew what I was doing," he added. "And, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm done hiding." Zatanna stood. "Then we've got your back." 6. Danger close. The first assassination attempt came 3 days later. A private contractor with ex-GIW ties smuggled ecto-neutralizer tech into Metropolis. The blast barely missed Danny. Valerie shot the guy in the leg. Team Phantom mobilized instantly. The Justice League was less calm. Batman tripled Danny's security detail. Constantine put a tracking rune on his soul. "No, it's not a leash," he muttered indignantly. Zatanna and Raven bound the watchtower with new spectral wards. Danny blinked a lot. You guys are treating me like I'm fragile. No, Diana said. We're treating you like you matter. Sam, Wes, and the rest of Team Phantom are just laughing their asses off in the corner. Wes is doubled over laughing. No, wheezing. 7. Ghosts Speak 2. Then the ghosts began to appear. Ember McLean gave a live concert in protest of the anti-ecto acts. Shulger mailed a hunting license back to the UN. Shredded. Box Ghost tried to start a union. Clockwork appeared one night, standing beside Batman in the Watchtower's observation deck. You've placed yourself in a very specific timeline, he said. Are you sure he's ready? Batman looked towards Danny, sparring in the training room. He doesn't have to be ready. He just has to keep going. Clockwork nodded. Then he will be more than ready. 8. Wes writes more fanfiction. In the safety of the Watchtower Lounge, Wes uploads a new chapter. It featured Danny Phantom punching a corrupt general into the sun. He didn't expect it to go viral. Hey, Phantom, Blue Beetle said during a crossover training session. Is it true you can phase your entire skeleton out of your body? Danny blinked. What? No. Tucker narrowed his eyes. Wes, what did you write? Danny found the fic later. Read it. Laughed so hard he fell through the couch. Sam is giving Wes a knowing look, and Tucker is laughing on the ground like he's going to die from laughter, or got Joker gas in his system. Chapter 5. The Summoning. The portal opened in the Watchtower's Hall of Magic. Not ripped, not torn. No, this was deliberate. Elegant. A spiraling gate of silver-green fire bloomed into existence, and out floated 3 beings, robed, ancient, and glowing faintly with power. Clockwork appeared beside them, uninvited but unsurprised. The High Council of the Infinite Realms requests an audience with the Ghost King. The tallest intoned, voice echoing in multiple pitches. Danny blinked from his seat on the couch, still holding a half-eaten sandwich. This is about me not answering their last 6 ghost emails, isn't it? Yes, Clockwork said. Also because you were tortured on Earth, and now they have legal grounds for interdimensional war. Oh. 2. Preparing for Doom. Diplomatic Edition. Danny paced the hall while the League and Team Phantom assembled. Okay, I'm gonna be fine. It's just a formal appearance. Probably a little yelling, maybe a knife fight. I'm not bringing a crown. Should I bring a crown? You are the Ghost King, Zatanna said gently. You should look like it. Sam appeared with a box. Already packed your ceremonial robes. They're awful, Danny groaned. They have epaulets. Valerie smirked. Better than armor with a target on your back. Jazz helped him steady his core as he phased into the robes. You're not going alone. He looked up. The entire League Dark team stood behind her. Zatanna, Constantine, Raven. So did Team Phantom. Even Batman was lurking in the shadows. Fine, Danny said. Let's go argue with ghosts. 3. Welcome to the Throne. The Ghost Zone's court appeared out of the mist, and memories shaped by ectoplasm. Great columns of obsidian and green quartz rose from a river of stars. Banners shifted in the spectral wind. Music drifted, off-key and ancient. The throne room pulsed with presence. Danny stepped forward, flanked by his allies. His boots hit the floor with echoes that weren't just sound. The council stood before him. Pariah's old advisors, Fright Knight, Pandora, and a few unknown entities that looked suspiciously like eldritch horrors with opinions. You failed to report the GIW's violation. One accused. You endangered the balance between realms. Danny lifted his chin. I protected the realms. I didn't want a war. That's why I stayed. A hush, then murmurs. You let them cut into you, cage you. You wore a collar like a slave. Sam stepped forward. Voice ice. Watch your words. Fright Night growled. She speaks out of turn. I'll allow it, Danny said coldly. She's my knight. That shut them up. 4. A test of kingship. The council demanded proof that Danny was still strong enough to hold the throne. So, of course, they challenged him to a trial of strength. Danny rolled his eyes. This is a stupid tradition. Ghost monarchy is all stupid tradition, West murmured. The arena rose from the mist. Floating platforms, shifting gravity. Unpredictable hazards. His opponent? A war wraith bound in armor and rage. Danny stepped into the ring. The fight was brutal. Danny refused to use lethal force. He took a blow to the ribs, felt something crack, then landed a counter-strike with his duplicates, and phased the enemy through the platform. The wraith surrendered with a snarl. Danny hovered above the crowd, panting, trying to catch his breath. Satisfied? The council nodded, slowly, then bowed. 5. Sabotage. But not all were pleased. One counselor, an ancient spirit named Desire, stormed away mid-ceremony. Something is wrong, Raven said, eyes glowing. I feel dark magic. Moments later, alarms screamed across the realms. Portals were opening, illegally, across the zone. Danny shot into the sky, cloak flaring behind him. Split up, track the anchors. Zatanna and Constantine traced the source of the spell. Valerie and Jazz defended the throne. Wes tripped into a pit trap and screamed for 3 solid minutes before getting himself free. Tucker shut down 3 corrupt rift stabilizers, using sheer willpower and swearing. Danny found the last one, a Terran space, leading directly into a human weapons vault, and sealed it with a blast from his core. Later, he'd find the sigils marked with Plasmus's name. The war wasn't over. 6. End of ceremony. The council reconvened. Someone tried to destabilize the realms from the inside, Danny said, floating just above the floor, light curling around him like a sun flare. Next time, it might not be a sabotage. It might be Earth retaliation. Or panic. Or fear. He looked at them all in the eye. I don't want war, but I won't let this happen again. Fright Night nodded once. You have ruled in pain. You still rise. That is enough. The vote passed unanimously. Danny Phantom remained Ghost King. As they left, Clockwork appeared beside him. You're becoming what you feared. Danny arched an eyebrow. A leader? Clockwork smiled faintly. A good one. 7. Back to the watchtower. Danny collapsed onto the nearest couch. His ceremonial robes trailed over the armrest like melted cake. I'm never doing diplomacy again. You're doing great, Jazz said, tucking a blanket around him. You punched a noble in the jaw. You made him bow after, Sam pointed out. Tucker handed him a smoothie. For the record, you looked terrifyingly cool. Wes was already halfway through writing a fic called Crowned in Starlight. Danny blinked sleepily. Hey, what happened to Plasmus? Batman stepped into the room. He's in containment. Earth's not the only place with cell sites. Danny's eyes closed. Good. Chapter 6. Echoes and Alliances. 1. Haunted still. Even in sleep, Danny twitched. Jazz watched from the chair in the medbay cot, chin propped in her hand, expression soft with worry. The ceremonial robes had been replaced with sweats. The crown shimmer of his core dimmed in the low light, but ever so often his form flickered, like his body remembered the battles, even when his mind tried to forget. Zatanna approached. Steps gentle. He's safe. I know, Jazz murmured. He just doesn't believe it yet. Zatanna raised a hand, casting a minor spell to keep nightmares at bay. He will. Danny stirred. His eyes blinked open, unfocused. Jazz? He rasped. "You're okay," she whispered. "You're back. No more trials. No more counsel. You're just Danny again." His voice was hoarse. "Don't think I've ever been just Danny." 2. Wes's conspiracy wall. And cookies. "Okay, hear me out," Wes said, pointing to a holographic chart he had set up on the wall of the Watchtower Lounge. "What if the Anti-Ecto Acts were just to start global anti-metaphysical suppression program?" "Wes," Valerie deadpanned, "this is your 3rd conspiracy board this week." "Because," he said, pulling out a tray of cookies, "the patterns are there!" "Cookies?" Tucker took one immediately. "Thanks. Also, you're not entirely wrong." Wes beamed. "Really?" Sam muttered, "Even a broken clock is right twice a day." Danny phased through the ceiling and floated upside down above them. "What if the clock is haunted?" Everyone looked up. "Go back to bed," Jazz called from down the hall. Danny grinned. "Can't. Wes is talking about conspiracies again. This is my bedtime story." 3. Red Hood, Blue Eyes. Danny wasn't expecting Jason Todd. But there he was, arms crossed, helmet under one arm, waiting in the Watchtower gym as Danny faced through the wall. "Didn't know you were League-affiliated," Jason said. "I'm not. Technically. Mostly." Jason raised an eyebrow. "Right." There was silence. Then Danny asked, "Are you here to train?" Jason shrugged. "Heard about you. Heard about what happened. I, know what it's like, coming back, being changed, being angry." Danny's eyes flickered. "You think I'm angry?" "I think you're pretending you're not." Danny stared for a long moment. Then nodded once. "Sparring match?" Jason cracked his knuckles. "Loser buys coffee." Danny grinned. "Ghost King. I don't pay for coffee." 4. The message. The transmission wasn't encoded. It traveled through Watchtower channels, unauthorized, glitchy, laced with ectoplasmic interference. Jazz found it first. She played it once, then again. Then she brought it to Danny. The screen crackled. A face appeared. Blurry. Familiar. Dan Phantom. Older. Ragged. Scarred. "I don't have long. They're tearing through timelines. Versions of you, of me, being erased. Ghost Kings across the multiverse are vanishing. You're the last one holding your domain together." A pause. "I'm not the villain here. But this time, this is a warning. They're coming for your crown." The message cut out. Danny stared at the dark screen. Tucker said quietly, "Multiversal ghost war? Sounds exhausting," Danny muttered. Sam crossed her arms. "So, we prepare?" He nodded. "We prepare." 5. League debate. Again. "They want to recruit Dan Phantom?" Sam's voice was sharp. "No," Batman said. "They want to study the message, determine how a multiversal destabilization could manifest, but that includes studying Dan, possibly recruiting him to help." Danny rubbed his face. "He's me, kind of, but also not. If he's warning us, that means it's bad." Zatanna said softly, "Or he's playing the long game." "I know," Danny said. "I'll look him in the eyes and know the eyes are the way into the soul, after all." Wonder Woman nodded. "We'll let you lead this, but we stand with you." Tucker muttered, "Just once. I'd like a league meeting that doesn't involve time travel or politics or political fallout." Wes raises a hand. "Can we at least keep the conspiracy board?" "No." All of them, besides Danny, practically yell out. 6. The King's Court expands. Clockwork returned unannounced. Again. He appeared beside Danny in the Hall of Justice Gardens, silent for a long time. Danny didn't flinch. "You let Dan send that message?" Clockwork tilted his head. "He found his way. I merely didn't stop him. Danny exhaled slowly. So, what now? Now, Clockwork said, you build your court. No king stands alone. Danny glanced sideways. Already have one. Clockwork smiled faintly. You have a circle. Friends. Fighters. But you need advisors. Ambassadors. Strategists. If you're going to protect this world, and others, you need to rule like you mean it. Danny looked up at the stars. Then back at the watchtower. I think I know who to ask. 7. Let the court begin. Danny stood in the center of the watchtower briefing room. I want to make this official, he said. Team Phantom stood nearby. Jazz, Sam, Tucker, Valerie, and Wes, eating popcorn with M&Ms. Across from them, League Dark, Young Justice, a few key League figures. I've been a ghost, a kid, a king, but I never asked to lead. He looked around. I want to protect, so I need people beside me I trust. He turned. Sam Manson, my knight? She saluted with a grin. Tucker Foley, my technomancer. Tucker bowed dramatically. Jazz Fenton, my shield. Jazz blinked fast, then nodded. Valerie Gray, my blade. Valerie smirked. Hell yeah! Wes? PR guy? Wes beamed. Zatanna, Constantine, Raven, I want you three as my ambassadors. Across magic, death, and realms. The three exchanged glances. Raven nodded. Accepted. And then Danny said, voice steady, core glowing bright. This is my court. This is how we win. Chapter 7. Ghosts, Games, and Growing Pains. 1. Movie night. Now with subtle longing. Okay, but seriously, Bart said, zipping across the lounge. Why are ghosts and movies all so inaccurate? Danny, in a beanbag next to Wes, grinned. Because they don't hire ghost consultants. I kept offering, Wes said, grabbing another handful of popcorn. But apparently, conspiracy guy turned actual hero doesn't scream expert. Danny snorted. You know, back in the day, you would have tried to expose me for being a ghost during the movie. Wes elbowed him gently. Yeah, well, back in the day, I didn't trust anyone. Now I'd fight an anti-ecto act for you. You did, Danny said softly, their eyes meeting for a second too long. The noise of the others faded into the background. For just a breath, the room quieted. Then Sam threw popcorn at them. Either kiss or shut up. Danny flushed bright green. Wes coughed. Working on it. 2. Team switch. Sparring and subtext. During team sparring, Danny floated midair while Artemis took shots at him from different angles. Phantom, focus! Sorry. Danny dodged the next arrow. Just distracted. Wes, across the room training with Nightwing, looked up at that exact moment. He caught Danny staring and smirked. Later, when the match ended, Danny wandered over, rubbing the back of his neck. You always that smug? Wes shrugged. Only when I know you're flustered. Danny blinked. I'm not. Wes leaned in, close enough that Danny forgot what air was, for a second. You should see your ears, dude. 3. Honest conversations. And a wound that matches. That night, after the others drifted off, Danny and Wes ended up sitting side by side on the steps near the Mount Justice Lake. You good? Wes asked. Danny didn't answer right away, his eyes reflecting the moonlight. The ecto glow, soft but steady. I was strapped to a table for weeks, Wes. He said, finally. Experimented on, ripped open, called a thing, and I couldn't call you. Or anyone. Wes stayed quiet. Then he unzipped his hoodie and pulled the collar aside, revealing a faded scar, green-tinged and ugly. From when I took shot meant for you. GIW prototype tech. Danny stared. I didn't tell you. Back then, I thought you'd blame yourself. Danny shook his head, eyes stinging. You idiot. I know. Danny turned. shoulders tense. Why are you still here? Wes's reply was simple. Because I love you. I just didn't know how to say it until now. Danny froze, then leaned in, foreheads pressed together. Me too, he whispered. 4. Training Exchange Day, featuring teammate Chaos. Training Day was even more chaotic than expected. Wes helped Nightwing run field simulations. Sam, accidentally, left ghost goo traps around the perimeter. Tucker gave Robin a virus that made his comm shout, "Spooked!" every time it pinged. Danny, flying overhead, spotted Wes helping Artemis back onto her feet, and felt something sharp, new, unexpected flutter in his chest. Later, Wes approached him. You okay? Danny shrugged. Still learning how to let people help. Wes reached out and took his hand. I'm here, he said. You don't have to relearn that alone. Danny didn't pull back. 5. Chaos, laughter, and the first step. Okay, Nightwing said, handing out mission folders. This is what normal looks like for us. Valerie glanced at the file. Your normal involves parallel dimension breaches. Danny rolled his eyes. At least it's not my fault this time. Yet, Wes added. Danny bumped shoulders with him, smirking. You're legally obligated to support me now. I'm not legally obligated to do anything, Sam shouted from the kitchen. You literally kissed on the beach last night. Everyone froze. Danny's face turned the color of autumnite at night. Wes sighed. Guess that's public now. Robin grinned. Took you long enough. 6. Epilogue moment. At the end of the week, as Team Phantom prepped to return to the Watchtower, Wes lingered behind with Danny by the Zeta Tube. Are you sure you want to do this? Wes asked, quieter than usual. Danny nodded. Yeah, I've got a court to build, a multiverse to maybe not explode, and Wes kissed him again. Just a small one. And I'll be there when you get back. Wes finished. Danny blinked, dazed. You'd better be. Chapter 8. Court, Chaos, and Complicated Feelings. 1. The Court of the Dead, and a very confused boyfriend. I'm not wearing this, Wes said flatly, holding up the ceremonial cloak. Danny, already halfway into his own, glowing, threadless hovering, grinned. You absolutely are. This thing is made of ghost silk, Danny. And you're dating the Ghost King, Wes. Get used to it. Wes grumbled, but slipped the cloak on. It immediately adjusted itself to his shoulders, pulsing gently with protective runes. He murmured something under his breath. If it starts talking, I'm out. They entered the Ghost Zone's throne chamber, to find the court already assembled. Clockwork, Frostbite, Desire, Fright Night, and Pandora. The atmosphere was tensed. Ectoplasmic currents swirled. Clockwork inclined his head. Your consort? Danny coughed. Advisor, who I'm also dating. Pandora nodded. Mortals rarely survive long near thrones of power. Let us hope he is the exception. Wes raised an eyebrow. Try me. The room went silent. Fright Night chuckled. I like him. 2. Jason Todd and the accidental jealousy incident. Back on Earth, the Watchtower was buzzing. Jason leaned against the wall outside the debrief room, arms crossed, watching as Danny floated past, hovering just an inch over the floor, Wes trailing behind him, mid-rant about boundary runes. Careful, Red, Nightwing said, passing. You're staring. I'm not. Yes, you are, Little Wing. Jason rolled his eyes. It's just weird seeing Danny with someone like that. Like, what? Nightwing asked, innocently. Normal, not haunted, not broken. Nightwing tilted his head. You're not jealous, are you? Jason scoffed. Of course not. Then paused. Maybe a little. Better not tell anyone, dickface. 3. Mission. Rescue in Rain. The call came at 3 a.m. Ghost breaches in Nevada. Something pulling undead versions of heroes from across dimensions into a collapsing reality pocket. Danny, Wes, Jason, Artemis, and Zatanna are deployed to deal with it. Stick close together, Danny told Wes, who was wearing a new shielded suit courtesy of Tucker. This place isn't stable. Neither is your entire existence, Wes murmured, activating his ecto-charged taser. Halfway through, something went wrong. Jason went down, the ground cracked, and Wes, caught in the middle, was yanked through a rift. Wes! Danny screamed, going full phantom mode in a split second, crown glowing, eyes burning. Zatanna shouted, "We can't follow him in! The frequency's destabilizing!" Danny didn't hesitate. He ripped open the breach with both hands, tore reality back into alignment, and flew through. Just in time to catch Wes mid-fall, in a realm of reversed time and shattered mirrors. "You came for me," Wes said, half delirious. Danny cupped his face. "Always." 4. Healing, Aftermath, and Confession. After the team returned, bruised but breathing, Danny stayed by Wes's bedside in the medbay. His own hands were shaking, raw from forcing reality to listen. "I thought I lost you," Danny said, with a hint of sadness. "You didn't," Wes whispered, reaching for his hand. "You won't." They sat in silence for a while. Then Danny asked, "You ever think it's too much? Ghost Kings and rogue timelines?" "Only when you're not with me," Wes said. "With you, it's just a life. Weird, intense, but life." Danny laughed softly. "I'm in love with you, you know?" Wes smiled. "Yeah, I figured it out around the part where you punched a hole in time for me." 5. One last glitch. When things began to settle, the Ghost Council sent a warning. A ripple, a copy of the king from another branch. Darker, broken, coming through the cracks of the realms. Danny stared at the portal as it flickered, showing a warped version of himself. Black crown, scorched cape, and eyes that bled green fire. Wes stepped forward, slipping his hand into Danny's. Danny didn't flinch. "We'll face him. Together." Jason loaded a new clip, stood behind them. "Guess we're doing multiverse therapy now," he murmured. Tucker from the comms. "I already hate this guy's Wi-Fi signature." Chapter 9. The Mirror King. 1. Shadows in the Rift. The Watchtower's observation deck thrummed with low, uneasy energy. The usual greens and whites of the ghost zone shimmered faintly in the air, but tonight there was a dark stain, like a bruise against the ether. Danny stood rigid near the central portal, his core glowing steadily but intensely beneath his ceremonial robes. Beside him, Wes's fingers curled tightly around Danny's, grounding both of them in the swirl of tension. Jason Todd leaned against the rail, expression grim, hood pulled low. His usual sarcasm was gone, replaced by cold, razor-sharp focus. From the flickering portal emerged a figure, a twisted, shadowed reflection of Danny himself. His skin was paler, his eyes burning with vicious green fire, and his jagged black crown seemed forged from shattered ectoplasm. "Dan Phantom," the figure hissed, his voice like shards of ice scraping the soul. "You who claimed the crown, but did not deserve it." Danny inhaled, steadying himself. "You're just a copy, a shadow of what I am. But you are not me." The Mirror King smiled cruelly. "I am what you feared to become. The king who destroys the realms. The ghost who will bring ruin to all." Wes tightened his grip on Danny's hand. "We're not afraid of you." Jason's fingers twitched near his guns. "We're ready." 2. Splitting the forces. "Contain the breach." Batman's voice came crisply over the comms. "No collateral damage. We cannot risk the tower or the realms being torn apart." Zatanna and Raven began weaving intricate magical wards, glowing sigils forming barriers of radiant light around the room. Nightwing barked orders to Young Justice and Team Phantom, splitting them into tactical squads for offense and defense. Danny floated higher, the weight of the crown pressing heavier on his spirit than ever. Wes, stay close. The fight's going to be brutal. Valerie and Sam took defensive positions at the flank, while Tucker hacked into the watchtower's dimensional sensors, tracking every flicker of the Mirror King's movements. 3. The battle begins. The Mirror King struck first, moving with terrifying speed and grace, facing through attacks and retaliations with blasts of corrupted ectoplasm that cracked the floor and shattered walls. Jason dodged nimbly, firing with pinpoint precision. Wes, cover Danny. That copy's no joke. Wes nodded, raising a barrier of shimmering energy to shield Danny from a sweeping ectoblast. You focus on fighting, I'll keep you safe. Despite the chaos, Danny caught a momentary breath as Wes's fierce determination steadied him. For a brief second, the storm outside faded. Together, he whispered. Jason sighed. Stop flirting mid-battle. Danny's face turns green at that before going back to fighting. Danny's radiant blasts combined with Wes's charged strikes, forcing the Mirror King backwards. 4. Mirror reflections. The Mirror King sneered. You hide behind others. You're weak. Danny locked eyes with him. No. Wes's voice was steady, unwavering. Strength is love. Jason murmured something along the lines of, such a dick-face thing to say. The Mirror King faltered. A flicker of doubt crossed his cruel face. 5. Breaking the crown. The battle escalated, magic and ectoplasm ripping through the watchtower. Just as the Mirror King prepared a final, devastating blast, the Mirror King goes for Wes, and something in Danny snaps as he attacks, and the dark crown shatters like glass. The Mirror King screamed as his form dissolved into shards of ghostly light. Silence fell. Danny and Wes collapsed into each other, breathless ectoplasmic residue dusting their skin. Jason approached, smirking for the first time all night. Not bad, you two. Though you should stop flirting mid-battle. It's distracting. 6. Aftermath and quiet promises. Later, in the quiet in the watchtower's chamber, Danny and Wes sat close, hands intertwined. Danny traced a faint scar on his wrist, then met Wes's gaze. I never thought I'd have a normal life. Wes smiled softly. Normal's overrated. I like this. Danny leaned into him, finding peace in the storm. 7. Danny's doubt. That night, Danny lay awake in his quarters, shadows flickering across the ceiling. The crown's weight still pressing heavily. Not just the physical burden, but the expectation. Wes slipped quietly into the room, sitting beside him. You fought a reflection of your worst fears. Danny sighed. And I almost lost. Wes brushed a strand of white hair back. You didn't. You're still here. Still fighting. Not alone. Danny turned, voice raw. What if, next time, I'm not strong enough? You are, Wes promised. Because you have people who believe in you. Me. And no matter what, we face it together. Danny reached out, weaving through Wes's hair, anchoring himself. Together. 8. Jason and Wes. Brotherhood and trust. Down in the watchtower's training room, Jason found Wes punching a punching bag. You're good with him, Jason said quietly. Wes looked up, surprised. You mean Danny? Jason nodded. He's tough, but sometimes he needs someone to remind him he's not alone. Wes smiled, a little shy. I'm trying. Jason clapped a hand on his shoulder. Keep it up. We've all got our battles. 9. The weight of the crown. Danny stood before the watchtower's grand window, watching Earth spin below. Sam joined him silently, her voice soft. You okay? Danny hesitated. I will be. But the crown, it's heavy. Not just on me, but on everyone I care about. Sam smiled gently. You don't have to carry it alone. Danny smiled back, hope flickering in his green-blue eyes. 10. Preparing for a final battle. The watchtower buzzed with preparations. The breach had been closed, but the threat was far from over. Batman, Zatanna, Constantine, Raven, Young Justice, Team Phantom, all ready for what was coming. Danny, Wes, and Jason stood together, a quiet strength minding them. "We'll face whatever comes," Danny said firmly. Wes squeezed his hand. Together, Jason smirked. "Let's blow this popsicle stand. Wait, no. Ryder, you can change that." Dick takes a long sigh. "Guys, stop breaking the fourth wall." Chapter 10. Kings and Kin. 1. Calm before the storm. The watchtower hung in the vastness of space, an ancient sentinel against the dark void. Yet, today, its halls thrummed with a quiet tension. Not the calm that followed a victory, but the heavy stillness of soldiers waiting for a battle that might decide the fate of not just Earth, but the infinite realms stitched together by fragile threads of magic and power. Danny stood near the expansive observation deck, the transparent walls offering an unobstructed view of swirling cosmic energies and distant stars blinking like silent watchers. His ghostly form glowed softly, the ethereal green light from his core casting faint shadows against the deck's floor. Beside him, Wes adjusted the straps of his gauntlet. The faint clink of metal, the only sound in the charged air. His fingers tapped an uneven rhythm, a nervous habit, and a grounding gesture. "You ready?" Wes's voice was low, almost reverent, a whisper meant only for Danny. Danny turned, eyes bright but calm, a rare warmth flickering beneath the emerald glow. "I'm ready," he said quietly, voice steady, "because you're with me." Wes's lips curved into a small but genuine grin. "Good answer. I've got your back, King." Behind them, Jason Todd's silhouette emerged from the shadows, his scarred face unreadable, but his dark eyes sharp. He gave a curt nod, approval clear. "Let's make sure this fight's the last one you'll ever have to fight." A heavy silence followed, broken only by the faint hum of the watchtower's power cores. The vastness of space pressed close, waiting for the storm to break. 2. The Final Rift. Without warning, the calm shattered. Reality itself seemed to tear. A jagged, roiling storm appeared above the watchtower's central chamber. Dark smoke and crackling shadows spilled from the breach, an unnatural rift, bleeding twist of energies that warped the very air. From the darkness stepped Plasmus, the rogue counselor whose betrayal had once threatened to unravel entire worlds. His armor writhed with living shadows. Dark, serpentine tendrils writhed and twisted, feeding off the chaos. His eyes, two cold embers of malice, locked onto Danny like a predator sizing up its prey. "Ghost King," he hissed, voice layered with cruel whispers echoing from 1,000 darkened corners of the realms. "You will kneel before me. Surrender, or I will watch the infinite realms burn beneath your failure." Danny's core flared, radiating a brilliant green light that pushed back the encroaching darkness. His spectral robes billowed in the ghostly wind that seemed to rise from some deeper plane. "Not today," he said firmly, voice ringing with unwavering conviction. Around them, the watchtower exploded into coordinated chaos. Team Phantom surged forward, alongside Young Justice's finest, and the arcane warriors of Justice League Dark. Zatanna's hands wove intricate patterns of shimmering spells, her voice weaving incantations that tangled with Constantine's biting curses. Raven's great wings unfurled, casting protective shadows over her allies as they pressed the attack. 3. Fighting side by side. Amidst the swirling battle, Danny and Wes moved with fluid, practiced synchronicity, shields of pure light flashing, blades slicing through shadows with lethal precision. Every movement spoke of countless hours training together, battles fought and won, and a bond forged through hardship. "You keep getting stronger," Wes said, between dodges, his breath coming hard as he narrowly avoided a dark energy blast. Danny chuckled, breathless but steady. "You keep distracting me." "Guilty as charged," Wes admitted with a playful grin. Then, without hesitation, reached out, fingers brushing against Danny's, in the thick of the fight. The touch was brief, but grounding, a quiet promise that they faced this together. Jason flanked them, his movements cold but deadly, a ghost of a smirk tugging on his lips as he dismantled enemies with ruthless efficiency, never missing a beat. The three moved like a well-oiled machine, fighting not just for survival, but for the hope of every realm depending on them. 4. Breaking the darkness. Plasmus's power surged to a terrifying crescendo. The very fabric of the watchtower groaned underneath the strain, shards of reality cracking and splintering as shadows threatened to consume all. Danny closed his eyes for a fraction of a second, reaching deep into the well of his ghost energy, drawing on every memory of light, every hope, every life he swore to protect. His entire being pulsed with pure energy, an incandescent beam in the suffocating darkness. "Now, Wes!" Danny shouted, voice sharp and clear. Wes's hands ignited in a brilliant burst of pure ectoplasmic energy, their powers combined in a burning beam of radiant light, cutting through the shadows like a sword of hope. The blast struck Plasmus full force. The Dark Chancellor's scream echoed like a shattering nightmare. The shadows writhed and unraveled, his monstrous form fracturing into shards of darkness that scattered like dust across the void, swallowed by the endless nothingness. 5. After the battle. Silence returned to the watchtower, heavier than before, more profound than before. The air still buzzed faintly with residual energy, but the immediate threats were gone. For now. Danny floated downward, the exhaustion from the fight weighing on him like a shroud. His movements slowed, but Wes was there instantly, steady and sure beneath him, catching him as if he weighed nothing at all. Jason stepped forward, clapping a hand firmly on Danny's shoulder. "You did good." Danny managed a tired smile, shaking his head slightly. "We did good. All of us." The room held a shared, unspoken understanding. They had survived. But this was only one chapter in a much larger story. 6. New Beginnings. Days later, in a quiet corner of the watchtower's heart, Danny and Wes sat close together. Their hands were intertwined, fingers laced in a comforting, intimate grip. The wounds of the war were beginning to heal, bruises fading, scars still tender, but something new and fragile was growing between them. A delicate hope threaded with shared smiles and quiet conversations in the night. Danny spoke softly, voice almost vulnerable. "I'd never thought I'd find this. Someone who sees me, not just a crown, or the king, but me." Wes brushed a stray lock of white hair from Danny's forehead, eyes warm and steady. "I've always seen you." Their lips met in a slow, unhurried kiss. A promise of trust, a beginning that neither dared rush, but both cherished deeply. 7. A Kingdom Reborn. In the Watchtower's Grand Hall, under banners of every realm united, the League, Team Phantom, and their allies gathered for a rare moment of peace. Wonder Woman raised her glass, her voice ringing clear. "To the Ghost King, and the family we choose." The toast echoed around the room, heartfelt and true. Danny looked around at the faces surrounding him. Friends, warriors, family. Every one a piece of his new kingdom. But he felt a quiet strength settle within him. He was a king, yes, but more importantly, he was home. 8. The future awaits. Back in the training room, sunlight filtered softly through the windows. Wes grinned, teasing Danny as they sparred, playfully, their movements loose but filled with genuine joy. "You're getting slow," Wes said with mock seriousness. Danny grinned, ducking under a light punch. I'm just letting you win. Wes laughed, shaking his head. Sure you are. Nearby, Jason watched with a rare smile. The weight of past battles momentarily lifted. Nightwing stepped in, voice calm but purposeful. Ready for the next mission? Danny looked out the window. The stars shining bright, infinite and full of promise. Always, he said. Robin walked in. There's not another mission, it's the end of the fic. The end. Notes. Guys, we're done. Also, Tim is my baby. End note, I suppose. I don't plan on doing any other Danny Phantom XDC stuff. I truly feel nothing about Danny Phantom. I have no interest in the character. He does nothing for me. I'm so sorry. I can already see the comments of people being angry with me for not being interested in Danny Phantom. I'm sorry. I tried. Me, when the boy on the slab. We're not exactly joiners. What the fuck does that mean, Danny? Who shouldn't be here because Nightwing isn't a Young Justice member. They wanted a character to set Wally up with, so people would stop shipping Wally and Dick. That's what it felt like to me. I'm so sorry. She wouldn't win that fight. I'm sorry. You're telling me this random woman beats Tim I followed Batman around Gotham without him noticing for years in a stealth mission? Absolutely not. Do not even try. I mean, he has that twink charm, you know? I'm over here bitching about things I agreed to do. I could have said no. That's the cutest little electric car. Wait, holy shit. Aw, look at him go. That just made my day. I'm only like 10 minutes in. God damn. The ADHD is ADHDing right now. Mr. Phantom. 104 days strapped to a table. I need to stop giggling at my own joke. That's so, Odysseus core. When I hear Clockwork, I immediately think of the creepypasta character. Raven is forever a Teen Titan, and she's not allowed to escape Teen Titanhood. And Raven has been 16 for eons. You wanna talk about it? What the fuck is Danny Phantom? Bound in armor and rage. Jason Todd? He's so girly pop. We love him. I don't know this character. Plasmius? Who the fuck is this? Plasmolius? Okay, please. Is this like his stepdad? Who the fuck is this character? Please introduce yourself, baby. I'm so lost. Why is he a Fruit Loop? What the fuck? Dude, why Fruit Loop? Why is that? I just wanted to know how I was supposed to pronounce his name. Baby girl, please. Plasmus! I found it! Also, I've apparently found the lore that Danny's dad has a friend who's a ghost and also is gay, I guess. I still find it so funny that Butch Hartman is, like, the most homophobic man alive, and he created the best trans allegory known to man. Why is this teenage boy a king? Am I reading into this? They call him a goddamn Fruit Loop. What am I supposed to do? It's not even just Danny being weird. His sister calls Plasmus a Fruit Loop too. That's just what they call him. Why is he a goddamn Fruit Loop? Why is he fruity? Where am I at right now? Okay. What happened to his parents? Why are these two just like, oh yeah, I guess we're out here now. Do his parents die at some... Is he an orphan? He is prime Batman adoption material, okay? He's so baby girl. My baby girl is here. Let's go. My scrunkly little guy. My fucking Blorbo. He's here. May I suggest Tim Drake? Best teenage CEO? Dramatic bastard. Tucker gave Robin a virus. Don't be giving Robin viruses, okay? I know he means computer virus, but like, don't be giving him viruses. You're one to talk, okay, Robin? Okay, Tim Drake? Jason, my beloved! Okay, sorry. Why is Jason included in this section? I'm very confused. Like, I'm very happy about it. He's my little guy, you know? He's my scrungly scrimblow. Why is Jason included here? I'm so confused. What purpose does he serve? Baby girl, I get it. You're lonely. Stop. Is he their third? Why is Jason present? A whisper meant only for Danny, and then Jason appears out of nowhere. And then he does appear out of fucking nowhere! Jason, leave them alone! Jason, baby girl, they did nothing to you! Let them be! Stop trying to be their third! You were not invited to this party! Leave! A heavy silence followed. It's them being like, why the fuck is this guy always following us? He's kind of creepy, you know? This is Deltarune coded. Nearby, Jason, fuck off. Sorry.